Mr. President. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate. Every life has a story to be told. If only allowed to be free, if only allowed to live, free from being defined outside that life, free from being defined by government, free to set one's own course, endowed by God with the rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all. Wars were fought over those words. When we got off as a country, those very words set our course back on who we were meant to be. The greatness of America, we know that's the course we are to stay on. From those words came our Constitution. From those words came our Gettysburg Address. From those words came Dr. King's speech. We need to pay attention to them. They're boundaries that protect us. They protect our dignity and value and self-determination. That was our beginning, and our Constitution was created to set the boundaries of our humanity, the way each individual was to be treated with dignity. That was our beginning. And somehow along this journey, a new way to challenge those boundaries has come about, and we see it every day. It's when you don't get what you want, you dehumanize the man or woman or child who stands in your way. You dehumanize them to create license to ignore boundaries of self-determination. The Constitution is what shielded us from that. It was there and created for the express purpose of limiting government over the individual, and it was put there to recognize the personhood of each of us. And now we're on this disturbing tendency, this downward spiral, where we marginalize the humanity of anyone who stands in our way, even if it's a baby in the womb of its mother. You're not a baby. When I first came to this building, I was over in the House, and I heard one of my House colleagues refer to her own child as a blob of tissue before that child was born. Today, a baby's not a baby. A baby's not a baby even if you're outside of your mother's womb for a day in Virginia. And when the Supreme Court found that Iowans had a fundamental right to an abortion, they were using the Constitution as in the express opposite way of its intended purpose. It's now being used to oppose the humanity of an unborn child. You see, because if somebody can deny your humanity of your existence, they can pretty much take away anything they want from you. A government that no longer sees people as individuals will no longer value people as individuals. Hasn't history taught us that? The erosion of the Constitution means that the government is no longer required to relate to us as individuals. Once the government ceases to do that, tyranny is the result. Free speech, private property, the right to defend yourself, the right to freedom of religion, protection from illegal search and seizure, the right to a jury trial, all those things were put there to protect and define us as individuals. And now, many on the left say I have no right to life if I'm in the womb of my mother. I don't have a right to private property, according to Bernie Sanders. I don't have a right to defend myself, to keep and bear arms. And I don't have a right to religious freedom if I don't agree with a homosexual lifestyle, even though that's in direct contravention to the tenets of my faith. So the boundary of that religious freedom is not going to be observed. We were never intended to be defined as mobs or masses, as one of my colleagues said. We were intended to be defined as persons. That's what made America great. And we need to look at the path that this is putting us on, because the individual right to self-determination is under attack like never before. The very intention behind our unique identity as individuals and our physical visage, personalities all speak to a God-ordained intention that mankind is to be defined as individuals, not by the statism of the left. It's self-evident, and it is a battle that should be fought over for the life of each of us. This is our battlefield. This is our shared responsibility to our fellow man. Thank you, Mr. President.